What's going on, everybody? As you can tell, I don't know how well the microphone picks up things, but visually you can tell I'm outside. I realized that the other day that once I got out of the house and started, moving around outside, I was starting to feel a little bit better and my mind was clear. So if you remember back in one of my videos, I mentioned something about location. Well, it applies to, video recording as well, because you have to find the place that you can focus. And granted, in the middle of a parking lot of an apartment complex, you wouldn't think you could, but it's just kind of the environment that I'm in right now. It's better for me to come out here and record. I just wanted to try and make a video and see how it goes out here. One of the things that I was thinking about the other day is kind of a change of perspective. I had come across, I don't know if anybody that watches me watches or used to watch SourceFed or SourceFedNerd. They were channels that were originally run by Philip DeFranco and some of his former staff, and the channels were bought out by Discovery, I believe. And they bought them from DeFranco, and they ended up just shutting them down, or not necessarily shutting them down, but just stopping all production on the channels, but they left the channels up. So I watch them from time to time just to kind of go back and laugh at some of the stuff. And the individual creators that were on there have their own channels, and I follow the individual creators on their personal channels as well. But one of the things, I came across one of their older videos that was suggested to me, and it's kind of a hot button topic if you're really involved in watching a lot of videos on YouTube. The whole thing about people talking about the whole kind of trend of social justice warriors, and how they conduct themselves these days. I think it was last year or 2 years ago, there was this whole thing about social justice being injected into the comic book world. So obviously this was a video I saw on SourceFedNerd. The video was talking about how it was interesting how they were saying that people complaining about injecting social justice into a comic book was kind of disrespectful to the comics. And to a certain extent, I agreed. But I mean, if you really think about, Superman, his whole shtick is truth, justice, and the American way. And we look at, because of these people who are trying to get social justice for certain things and the way that they conduct themselves, we look at social justice as a bad thing, unfortunately. And I think that it's developed a stigma, because I don't necessarily think these people who are fighting for social justice right now are really fully aware of what they're fighting for. I don't think that there's a collective narrative that they're fighting for. I think it's kind of all over the place. But the SourceFedNerd video was talking about how wrong people were to get mad at people injecting social justice into comic books, because essentially, if you really dig deep, that's what all comic books are about, at least the superhero comics, because they're fighting for justice on a social level. So it does make sense. But, going back to the people that are, fighting for social justice right now, it kind of goes along the whole same lines as feminism, the current wave of feminism. People are just going about it in a very aggressive and very kind of bad way. And I think they just have to redirect their focus. But in any case, the video got me rethinking the whole thing, because I can't stand most of the social justice warriors and the way they conduct themselves. And it got me rethinking a lot of, like, the DC Comics shows that I watch, seeing how they change things up within the shows. And I never actually got into comics until I honestly went to my first Comic-Con in 2014. So I don't know a lot of the canon with certain comics, like the original stories and stuff, but it blows my mind how aggressive and vitriolic people can be when you do something that they disagree with. I enjoy the shows, but seeing certain characters be transformed into something that they weren't in the comics just to appease a certain group, I can understand where people get mad at that. That definitely has to come to an end, because it takes away from the original story that was written decades ago, But this video really kind of gave me a different perspective of, it's okay for, stories to change and evolve, because, that's how we learn. And humans in general evolve throughout time. And no, that's not a creation versus evolution argument, because I'm not getting into anything like that. But I think our thoughts and the way that we are evolves over time. And I was just really appreciative that I saw that video and how it got me kind of thinking in a different way. I still don't like how people are conducting themselves in the name of social justice, but I think it makes me understand what they're trying to accomplish. But it's just a matter of, I think, more voices need to get involved, and the people, I think both sides need to aim to understand where each side is coming from and what each side is trying to accomplish. It's just a matter of perspective, and I think as long as you keep your mind open, that anybody can change your perspective, and it can generally, for the most part, turn out to be a good thing. And I think that's extremely important. So it's just kind of something I wanted to touch on. And it all leads up to a video I'm currently still working on. But it's just about, timing and finding the right perspective to be able to convey the message that I want to convey. So I'm going to end this one here, and I will talk to everybody soon. I'll leave all my social media links down in the description. I'm working currently on merchandising for the Patreon. There is a few things that I want to do content-wise in the coming weeks and months, and I could really use some help from the viewers. So if you want to see kind of content that is more stepped up and kind of intriguing, please consider contributing via Patreon or the PayPal, and I promise you will not be disappointed. One of them is a prank that I'm working on, and the director, or the property manager for the apartment complex that I live at, has already said she wants me to do it here. So if you want to see something of a prank on an entire apartment complex, please, like I said, please consider, contributing via Patreon or PayPal, and we will go from there, and I will, fill everybody in as soon as I can. I'll talk to everybody soon. Hope everybody's happy and healthy. Bye.